So I got to know, when you're bringing this voice you established with the animated series to other projects, do you view that as kind of this character that you brought life to, just kind of like touring the world with these other projects, or do you think there is like a character separation in these different embodiments, Arkham series, Lego?
No, I think what's interesting about putting him in different situations is the consistency of the man, and that's what's funny, is that character that the audience knows and is so familiar with in a different situation, in a more bizarre situation. If you adjusted the character, it wouldn't be the same thing. So the audience knows him really well. So part of my challenge over 27 years has been to keep him consistent and to keep it fresh and to keep it authentic. Because the Batman audience is very passionate, and they would know in a heartbeat if you were phoning it in. So what's fun about this game is that anything with Lego is there's a sense of humor to it, there's a little bit of an attitude to it. So when you put Batman in that world, it's that much funnier. You know what I mean? Because he's so serious.
Yeah. The straight man.
He's so dark. Yeah, he's the straight man in this off-kilter world.
When you're going into the booth to practice, is there a warm-up you do to get into Batman? Is it different between iterations?
I just think about the darkest moment of my life. No,
This is that tantric chant you do.
Yeah. No, he's become so familiar to me after so many years. It's kind of a suit that I slip into, He's such a wonderful character to play. He's so complicated. That, it's just very familiar to me now.
How do you feel like you're going to differentiate yourself from the other actors that play Batman and Lego form, like Troy Baker or Steve Blum?
Well, I'm the authentic Batman. They're the fake. Just kidding, Troy. I'm just kidding, Troy. Everyone brings their own take on it, a little bit, like all the on-camera Batman, how they've all been slightly different. And it's usually interesting to see how people take things differently. It doesn't make one better than the other. I think Mark Hamill is the Joker. He's the definitive Joker. He's my Joker. But then I saw Heath Ledger do the on-camera Joker, and I thought, well, he's brilliant. It's just a different kind of brilliant. He's not better than that. He's just different crazy, but he's wonderful, So one isn't necessarily better than the other. You're just like...
How do you, when you're casting or Kevin Andy casting, do you decide which, I'm going to use Kevin for this, or Troy for this? Is there a certain, feeling you have, they'd be better for this guy?
What makes you... what does go into that decision?
Well, first you call up, Kevin's reps, and if he's available, then you're done. You're casting, right? But honestly, Kevin, just like what he said about Mark is, he is most of this generation's Batman, right? And so whether it's an Arkham game or whether it's a Lego game, Kevin has such range to be able to play the super more serious, dark version that we have in the Arkham games, so that's a more mature interpretation of Batman, but then he also can bring the humor and the fun, but bring a little bit more of that stoic, kind of serious Batman, because that's part of the humor when you put him in the Lego set, like you said. So typically that's certainly with Arthur and I, in the way that, the generation that Arthur and I grew up with, he's our main Batman. So, it's always, whenever we have a new project, Kevin's always at the top of the list.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Checks in the mail.
Speaking of other actors, though, there have been many people that switch out of these roles in the DC universe, especially in the Batman universe. around you, does that kind of inform, not your portrayal at the time because you don't get to hear their performances until the final product? Do you play these games? Do you kind of get to experience different of these characters, different Gordons, different characters speaking with your Batman? Is that weird at all?
I haven't. I always go back to the original voices that I heard in my head. Like for me, Gordon will always be Bob Hastings. That's just who it is. Alfred will always be Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. But there have been other wonderful Alfreds. Mark will always be, Joker. So those are just the voices that just resonate. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing, because I oversee games and animation for DC, is like a lot of the actors who have done many of the seminal DC animated series or direct-to-video animated movies also do work in games and they understand the medium of games. So it just makes sense if they've done an amazing job as this character or that character in the DC universe in an animation project. Why wouldn't we want them as one of those characters in a game, whether it's a more mature game like an Arkham game or an Injustice or a fun kids game like this? So they make our jobs really easy in casting because they've done such an amazing job playing those characters in other forms.
Yeah, the actors who've done those roles in the episodic shows or created those roles know them so well. So you put that person into a situation where they're building a game. And building a game is complicated and hard. It's a harder process because you don't have the interaction from the other actors as much as you do when you're doing a show. So much of it is recorded.
Yeah, we don't do as much of the radio show stuff.
It's not the radio show feel. It's you're alone in a booth, so you've got to keep that character alive without the input from the other characters. It's so much easier for me to be Batman when Mark is there doing Joker because we feed off each other. He gives me so much, but when he's not there, I have to keep it up myself, And it's, the better you know the character, the better you are at doing that.
You talked about the consistency of the character and the voice. You've been doing it for so long. How did you find that voice? Did you go through a lot of different versions on your own, or did you come down?
Well, that's a really interesting question because do you know this is the first animated role I auditioned for? It's the first animated role I auditioned for. I had never even thought about doing an animated character. I'd done stage work, I'd done on-camera work, I'd done commercial voiceovers. And my commercial voiceover agent said, they're putting a new show together at Warner Brothers. Why don't you go over and give it a shot? You've never done any animation. Batman. I said, Batman? That's been around forever. That's not new. He said, no, it's never been done as an animated show. I was so naive, I didn't even know it had never been an animated show. So I walk in, I'm meeting Bruce Timm, Andrea Romano. I'm meeting like the gold standard of animation that I didn't know. I was so naive. I was a New York stage actor, who are these people? So I was completely liberated to improvise because I had no anticipation of what they wanted. You know what I mean? My imagination, I was completely free to take a risk because I had no preconceived notions. So they described the character to me, and as they were describing this tragic childhood and living in this darkness and avenging his parents' death, I just gradually put myself in this place. And this sound I just started improvising a sound. And Andrea said, we hired you on the spot. And they'd seen 500 people. They've been looking for months. Because in auditioning, they never know. You always go in and you ask, what do you want? Tell me what you want. They can never tell you what they want because they don't know what they want.
When they hear it, they know.
They'll know it when they hear it. Or on camera, they'll know it when they see it. But they don't know how to tell you because they don't know yet. So you go in and you've got 90% of getting a job is making the right choice in the audition. There are many other actors who could have gotten the role, but they just didn't make the right choice in the audition. I just happened to. So it was a lucky day for me.
Thanks, guys. Can we get a quick picture?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. All right. Hope you come to the panel later. And sure. Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm always interested in talking about like the discovery of the voice. You have a ton of voices. You do in this game.
Very lucky.
Yeah. How do you find these voices and differentiate between how you do it?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, basically, each character is its own entity, so you have to just think. There's two things you have to do, just to be specific to the character, who, what, where, and his voice print. But then you can't be at all close to anything else you do. You know, like it's, you know what I mean. And so sometimes it's a challenge if you're getting into heavy voice characters. You're worried that Croc is going to be too close to Grundy. It's going to be too close to Clayface. You just have to change their rhythm, change their intelligence a little bit, maybe their dialect slightly. You know. So, yeah, it's a thing.
How do you record that print? I mean, is that all just up here, or
Well, it's
you ever listen to yourself? There it is.
it starts with going on auditions, and we do the audition. Then they will listen to it. My writer directors here, you know, will listen, and we'll shape the voice together and say, can you make him lighter, dumber, heavier? No, smarter than, you know, like you find older. You know, you kind of, it's like playing in a guitar effects. You know, like how far. And then once you lock in, you kind of remember it because you're doing it a lot. Some of these characters I've done in so many projects that I immediately can do. You know what I mean? But even that will be different. Like Solomon's going to be different in this game than the other, depending on what they want. Then they record it, so every time I come back to recording, they have reference for me.
Okay.
I always love hearing a reference, and so then you lock back in because sometimes you forget like what pitch you were at or whatever. You know.
You talk to Kevin, and he's like, no, I'm bringing this Batman. This is what you're paying
This
for.
is him.
Whereas like you have a little bit more flexibility. It sounds like.
Yes, yeah, especially when we're playing comedy versus. You know, you're always going to play the reality of the scene. It's just they'll write us in a situation that it's these dark characters that are put in the most ridiculous situations.
It's one of the interesting things about kind of with the writing. We have these lines of dialogue that you might not necessarily expect the characters to be delivering. So like someone have an expectation of what Grundy would say before he said it, and then when we come along from a Lego game point of view and saying, hey, we want to do these lines of dialogue, they might not necessarily be something you'd ever expect Grundy to have ever said in his life.
Yeah.
But it's Grundy's voice delivering these lines, and it seems really, really works to kind of bring that character to life. I mean, do an amazing job of it. We put them through their tests and saying, well, we want you to say this character, this very dark, kind of serious, but these funny lines, but in his style, please. And they just come together, and
It becomes ridiculous. Yeah, so they make it very fun for me. You know, they get some really crazy lines for these characters to say. Yeah.
Do you have varying like warm-ups you do per character? Or you kind of just
I call it tuning up. Yeah. You know, like sometimes if I have to go really low for Grundy, I might kind of do a little getting in here, and then if I have to clear it for somebody else, I kind of put him up in here if I have to, or you know, just depending on where I have to go. So yeah, you do have a little warm-ups and warm-downs there.
How much do you? I mean, we just got like 3 voices in 30 seconds. Like, how much do you alternate between when you have sessions and you come in? Like, do you know I'm going in to specifically do Grundy today, or is it just kind of like me bouncing all over the place?
A little bit of both. I generally know like a main guys that I'm doing. Sometimes I get the script ahead of time, or I'll know what I'm doing that day. Or I've read the whole script and I know, okay, this is what we're at. And then sometimes you get stuff thrown at you. You know, you're cop number 2, or so you do bounce around a lot. You know.
Nobody ever lets me use my own voice. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, we have had it on times where we'll come in for a recording session for a specific character, and then we realise there's a line that we wanted to pick up from last time. It's like, can you also do this now? And just spare at the moment, can you switch shift and do it?
And that's part of it. That's fine. Yeah, I actually like doing that. I like the more voices, the better.
Do you sell yourself as that? As just I'll do the whole cast.
No, I like working with the cast. No, I like the Fred Show all the time. Hey, listen to me. Mine's the only voice. No, I actually like working with everybody. But I for years and still, one of my things is I played utility. That's like it's like in music where you got to play banjo, harmonica, and a piccolo, depending on what they want. That's kind of what I am on Family Guy and a few other shows. Bono, Mark Twain in the toilet all in one show. You know, that's kind of what utility is. You don't know. I've made a living doing that for years, and so now it was really fun. The last 10 years, I've been able to like land some parts. So when I get a chance to play a bunch of different things, it's really fun. Yeah.
We were talking with Julie about there's sometimes room for ad lib and improv. Are you kind of a big ad libber?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love doing that. But this stuff is so. Two things with ad libbing is like comedy. It's great, but you guys really write funny. It's like I don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff. Sometimes you can throw stuff in. Games are pretty tight, right? When you say you can't do a lot of.
It's always a funny one for us because when we're writing, we kind of got an idea of how long the customer's going to be, how many lines of dialogue, where we're going to be using them. We do change it at the time though. So if a line of dialogue is recorded in the recording session, we never plan that, but we can definitely use it. We'll kind of adjust things. But from a kind of game point of view, we also kind of want to make sure that the other thing is we want to make sure we're Lego friendly. We want to be family friendly. We had, not on this title, but like previous recording games, people dropped in some lines and you're like, ooh, age appropriate.
You do have to be careful. Some outtakes you'll never have.
I was just endurance, man. How do you keep doing that? I mean, you're talking about the pre-production. How do you do like an hour or two into a session? Do you have any like tricks or something?
This was pretty good. This was a lot, you could sustain what we did here. Yeah, they're tricks, if you have a real vocally stressful session, it's like doing stunts. You just got to kind of, know where your limits are at the moment and warm up and warm down and do them and, just know that you just got to give it your all. That's what you signed on for. You give it your all for 2 to 4 hours, 6 hours, depending, lots of water, hydration. And keep it just interesting to yourself. Always be interested. If you're into it and like living it out, it's such a better reality. You know what I mean? And these guys make it easy to do that because it's funny.
We want to get them. We get amazing stuff from them, but we always want to make sure that we can get them back next time. If they have a horrific session, broken voice for 2 weeks afterwards, but then we come back and hi, can you come record again?
I jump back in a second with you guys.
Hey, thanks for your mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great question.
No idea. Hey, you all right?
Guys, full disclosure, Brandon's my friend.
Yeah. Why not you too?
Right there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No questions.
I do have one question though. Do you scream? Is that an effect, or like, how much of that?
Am I allowed to
I'm
answer
assuming you
that
do that at the end of your session.
So I know we recorded a scream, and I'm not sure what you ended up doing with it. Because it was an effect in Suicide Squad Help to Pay.
Okay.
Yeah,
But in this, I think you were looking for.
It's a screen that is kind of got a bit of slight post-process, but it's not just an effect.
Okay.
So you did use it. So it's in.
Can you just spam it? It's just like a button, screen.
Yeah.
Julie, I was asking Kevin earlier, like how he finds the voice. How did you find your voice for the character?
Well, for Silver Banshee, I had just voiced her for Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, and so I, used the same voice for this game. Who wants to mess up between us two? Be like, who is this person? But originally, when I was offered the role of Silver Banshee for the movie, I did a lot of research looking at the backstory when she was introduced in the 90s, originally in the comics, and then watching how the new iteration had come about. She found her way into the Supergirl world. So I took a look at the renderings, and I read enough about her backstory to understand that she had been, banished from her clan, and to see why she would be coming back, why at any point she'd be coming back amongst us. So finding that and looking at the renderings, I was curious about how they were going to depict her, and then I saw she was an even harsher version. And I had seen before she had this like flowing hair and like a little bit of sex appeal. Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, she's there for business. It's like she's out for blood. She's like a walking knife. I was like, you are fierce, just like me. And for me, and it sounds odd because she has such a netherworld backstory, but I wanted to keep her voice very, I keep saying like gravelly and earthen and like just core of the earth for me. So I kept it really low. And I think it's because I kept seeing her as like, I don't know, stones or something. So I found myself gravitating toward that kind of voice. And it was just getting into the fact that she'd been through hell and, you know, she tried to rise up, we kicked her in the butt. And she's like, all right, I'm back.
I could listen to you forever.
You're so funny, thanks.
It's so good. This is why we use like all these people.
Well, to be fair, I would work with you forever, so this is working well for all of us.
Was there any challenge going from like a more mature take with Suicide Squad Hell to Pay to essentially a kids game with Lego?
No, because it's the same. For me, the character stays the same, right? So if she's in a lighter environment or a more playful environment or a wilder environment, it's still the same person, right? I mean, I'm still the same human now, talking to you, trying to be relatively eloquent, right? And then if I go to Disneyland or I'm like, you know, doing something crazy for the day, I'm a different person. You know, you see me out in the wild, right? We all have different, right? The core stays the same, right? So if you're doing your job right, and I guess it sort of implies that I think I have done my job right, which sounds really self-aggrandizing, so never mind. But if a person does her job right, the core stays the same, and the environment can shift around her.
Yeah, because we had that similar thing with both Kevin and Mark, who were both known for playing the Batman and the Joker on more short things. And we were like, no, you're those guys, but you're going to be saying like Lego gags. It's just, but we want those people, but delivering our writing, and that's I think why it works so well. It's just funny hearing those real characters delivering silly Lego gags.
You know, it's funny. I told this
really silly and really fun.
Because it is a lighter game, and there's a lot of gags in there, and you guys are probably recording solo a lot, I assume. Is there any room for improv or ad-libbing?
I would say yes. I probably far more so with people like Roger Frederick Smith. It's just like the world's worst for ad-libbing, which is great.
He just keeps going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a compliment to him.
Yeah.
And Nolan North is the same way. Like we have so many wonderful voice actors whose brain refuse to stop thinking of another wonderful thing to say. And so I'm sure that you book them for an extra hour to pad for that like extra stuff.
But it's like what Julie said before, because Julie knows her character better than we do, so we'll write with the best of knowledge that we've got and the best research that our writers have done. But if there's a certain, it's like, well, actually, my character will say it in this, so we'll just change it. It's like, okay, that's fine, because you know the character better than we do, and that's so there is sometimes some improv, there is sometimes a little change, a little amendment, because it has to be authentic. I know it's a Lego kids game, but at the same time, we pride ourselves on authenticity when we are working. It's as authentic as any DC property, any DC thing can be.
So you would write the script, record, then animate? Basically, it's sort of all the same time?
No, we will always animate after recording.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we want the performance to be right, and then we'll animate to that.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
There's so many Lego games in the not only DC universe but in Gotham and all these areas. Like, was it a struggle, or how did you approach thinking of like new places we could go to, or was it kind of fun maybe to return to old places as villains now?
This one was a lot easier because Lego Batman 1, it's 10 years old this year. Happy birthday, Lego Batman 1. But that had no hub, no open world hub. It was like it had Arkham and the Batcave, I think it was, and you could just transition. It was so because that was like 10 years ago. We couldn't do things then. Lego Batman 2 was just Gotham. Lego Batman 3, we did the whole planet thing, so you could go to Oa and you could go all these other places. So it's like we'd never done a big open world, so we were just like, well, what should we do? No brainer. It's like we'll have Metropolis and Gotham and Smallville and Bellevue Penitentiary and everywhere. Yeah, absolutely everything. And then it's like, oh, is that enough? Oh, I don't know. So partway through the story, Apocalypse gets boom tubed in. So yeah, you can go to Apocalypse as well. And so yeah, it's we hadn't done it, so we're like, here we go, easy. So that one was quite simple.
Thank you guys. Thank you. We're gonna move on.
Oh,
Can we get a quick picture?
Sure. Thanks, guys.
we really should synchronize.
Well, you know what though? we don't care, right? And that's supposed to be cool.
So I'm Justin, Lego in Denmark.
Senior producer at TT Games.
I have a question. So this is, don't mean this to sound like a negative, but like I was just talking to Arthur about just the Lego and DC have been fairly prolific over the years. You know, there's been like many games, even Dimensions, like revisiting all of these environments. Is that like a struggle to be like, okay, here's another opportunity going back to these same environments, or is it kind of exciting to be like, how can we switch it up this time and go to new places?
I think we're always looking for ways to freshen it up and look to do things slightly differently. And the villain perspective on this has shifted. That it instantly makes it feel different from the other games. And being able to create a character, which you do at the start of this game, put them into the story again, that changes the dynamic of the story. So from that point of view, I think that it's going to feel different to the previous DC games that we've done. And the look of the characters is also different. So on previous games, we're using New 52 designs, and now we're using Rebirth designs for these characters. So they've got characters had a makeover from previous versions. If they've been in the previous games, they will generally look different for the most part. I don't know if any stay the same. There might be some of the official Lego.
Yeah, a few of the figures that you've seen in the product stayed the same. Yeah, everyone else has been freshened up.
I'm curious, going back to the history of the Lego video games and those meetings of like who approached who first, like the companies approached Lego versus Lego's idea, like let's do some video games, and how did that come about?
Before my time.
You know, maybe there's a legendary story or something.
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that either. But obviously, it's been a long time that we've been working together. We've worked through multiple different IPs, and it's been a relationship that's obviously worked really well for a long time now. So it's always a pleasure to work together and sort of create these new games. And it's always been something that has been amazing. Really for us to be able, it's a privilege to work with brands like Lego and DC from a game making perspective. That's an amazing opportunity to be able to do that, and we don't want to sort of just forget that. That is central to be able to do it. These are things that people love. So there are fans of Lego, there's fans of DC. You can bring them all together in this game experience that everyone can enjoy, and that's sort of fundamental principle really for the Lego games. That's part of what makes them sort of unique and this position where we can sort of keep on coming back and people want to still play them.
I assume it sits certainly with the physical Lego cells itself, and certainly help with that.
Well, it's great that we can see the sets that we designed on screen, and also promote sets that haven't been released yet or that'll be coming out soon as well, so that all the players can say, oh, I really like this, whatever it be, and they can see it and then get it in physical form. And it's also great that the TT Games, they add an extra level of play experience to our product, so not only have we got the physical Lego brick play, but then you can go into the digital world and explore all the crazy adventures in Gotham and Metropolis that these villains go on, so it's great. It's a great partnership.
The character creation, was that something that you had always wanted to do, or the team at TT always wanted to do, really kind of for any game regardless of the genre, or do you think that's something that really fit into the villain aspect?
Well, we've always had the character customized. I think the original Star Wars had the customized, so it's been something that's there, but it's always been previously in the background. We have sort of over time been making it slightly more in depth, and it's something that we've actually realised loads of people play with custom characters. And once you sort of like with that information, you go, well, we should be doing as much as we can with it. And this was a good opportunity to sort of make it a central. So I think it's partly time, partly we sort of learn a lot about what people want when they do make these characters. And I think the time was right in this one. Because the element of random works really well with villains. So there's some really crazy outfits that you can put on. Like they're generally all using like official Lego elements, but you can like there's that car from minifigure series. And we've been able to take that and like you can have a character that's got a car like around its torso, and just like that's crazy. But because it's a villain, you can just be called Car Man. it works.
I remember that the Lego Batman movie made fun of like rattling off all these classic Batman villains. Like, no, they're real. Like,
Yeah.
Google that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was just curious if there was a connection in that of just like make your own villain that really shouldn't exist but can now.
I think it's just the time was right. I think now is the time. It's something that definitely makes this game feel different, and it means that if you spend the time to create a character right at the start of the game that you think, yeah, that's exactly what I want, you're going to be more invested in that character and see how that character does progress in the story, and that's going to be something that's really cool, and will make keep people wanting to see what happens next to their character as they go through. So I think that's going to change the dynamics of how the story plays out. That's really cool.
Gives a lot of freedom from like a Lego Upstate's collaboration, but it gets a lot of freedom creation wise, and then you kind of go back and forth with like, here's what we have, and you guys approve, and like, oh yeah, it's great, just like that. Or,
Yeah, it's a mixture of both. I mean, the TT designers, they create their own products, their own models on the screen and stuff, but we also want it to be able to be built by kids. So if you have all the pieces at home, then you can build what's on the screen, and yeah, you can pretty much create the game one-to-one in physical form. So it's a great dynamic with a partnership with forward to making sure that everything is Lego legal in the
Lego legal. I like that. What do I do with this one?
Yeah, our character artists have calls with you sort of directly to discuss things that you can advise on. If Lego were to make this toy, this is what we'd do, and that's sort of that's very important. That is keeping the units keeping us because it does project. Like even if Lego aren't making this toy, this is what it would probably look like for the future. So that is a very important thing.
Are there any key features that this game brings to the table? Like I know some other Lego games have brought new elements like the Star Wars Episode 7 did, like the tour-based shooting and stuff. Are there anything like that are new to this game?
So outside of the sort of the character creation stuff, there are new sort of mechanics. So the other cool thing with villains is in previous games you'd have Joker and then you'd have Joker's henchman or Riddler and Riddler's henchman. In this, because you're playing with those characters, you can now, as you're playing through the levels, find henchmen and sort of recruit them and use them to solve puzzles. So in the opening levels, Joker can recruit some henchmen, they form a human trampoline. So you can then jump on them and they sort of jump him up to a higher ledge so you can get somewhere you can before. So that sort of is a new fun mechanic where the henchmen are being used in a different way, and that's what's sort of in this game. And also some characters are able to create toxins. So Scarecrow can create a different toxin to help solve some puzzles, and Joker can solve his laughing gas and stuff like that. So there are new mechanics in there that again are appropriate for the characters that are featuring in this game where there's more villainous focus into it.
Quick picture, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.